Hello and welcome to a new video, and this one is my favourite books of 2023, and I have 4 books on my list. 2 of them I have physical copies of, the other 2 I have one of them somewhere else in the house and I haven't picked it up yet, and the other one is at my mother's house. She has my copy. Now, it doesn't look like I can find that 3rd copy, but never mind. I'll have to put a picture on the screen. And the first book that I have to show you is the first one that I read this year for this list, and that was Richard E. Grant's Pocket Full of Happiness. This is out in paperback now as well, so it's cheaper. But this is one of the best books that I've ever read in my life. It chronicles a little bit of him and his wife's relationship a little earlier on in life, but like before they got married. And it kind of gives you little bits of their relationship through the book, as well as when she got her cancer diagnosis, and and as that, it tells you about all of that as time goes on, and that, she was very sick. And of course, it's not a spoiler in the book that she dies. He did say online that his wife had died, which is very sad, of course. But the book kind of chronicles a lot more of that, about how his wife was, how she felt, how he felt. And it was very sad. I sobbed after reading this for about 10 minutes. It's very upsetting, but at the same time it's still a very good book. It's very well written, and he's one of my favourite actors as well, so of course I picked it up. But yeah, I do recommend this if you are a fan of Richard E. Grant. It gives you a little bit of insight into his life through a rough time that a lot of people unfortunately do have to go through. But you can see him online with little snippets of his little pockets of happiness on the internet, which he promised his wife that he would do, and he still does even now. And the other book that I have is, it's not just The Fellowship of the Ring. I love the series as a whole, but I might as well just show you the first book of the series because it's the cutest little start to a fantasy series, and I love it. I can't even, it's just as cute as the first film, and I love it. I can't describe the joy that this first book in the Lord of the Rings series actually brings to me. I'm glad that I took a deep dive into this, because I'm not usually an adult fantasy reader at all. I tried George R. R. Martin's series. Couldn't do it after I took 3.5 books to realise, nope, not a fan. But this though, I enjoyed this. I read The Hobbit a few years ago now. That's a children's book. It's a lot easier to read. And I also recommend the audiobooks for this if you do struggle with fantasy a little bit more. And especially for the 3rd one, because I did struggle a little bit more reading the 3rd one because there is battle scenes and stuff, and I'm not very good at reading those. It helps to have someone speak it to me in that sense for us to actually understand it properly, which was very, very helpful. So yes, I do highly recommend Lord of the Rings. It's not actually all that difficult to read, to be quite honest. It was far more simple to read than I expected it to be. So this one has a very high recommendation in regards to classic literature and fantasy literature from me. And the third thing that I've just been looking for before, but I have somehow managed to misplace in a space of half an hour, and that is Heartstopper Volume 5. It is very cute. Their relationship progresses and it's delightful, and you just and I just loved seeing them kind of grow up and thrive, and create this healthy relationship, which is great. I don't really have a lot to say about it other than it was just lovely. Seeing these two teenagers come together and actually be in a healthy relationship. And the fourth book that I have is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, but my mum has that copy. I will forever recommend this to people at work. It's if anybody is ever curious about A Little Life, I always say don't read that. Read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow first, because it's very similar, but its topics aren't quite so forced. It's a lot lighter, it's a lot easier to read. It's still about people's relationships, like in friendships, and then and it's dealing with loss as well, but it's not quite as, it's not extreme like In A Little Life, so you don't have as much of the trauma that A Little Life would bring. So Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow is a little bit easier. It's still just as good. It's actually a lot shorter than A Little Life, so you're getting a good impact with a fraction of the pages, which is also a great thing. And that's it for the main four things. I do have a couple of honourable mentions, and one of them is The Raptures. I forget the author's name now because I don't have the book with me. I did, as much as I loved this book, I don't actually own the copy anymore. But that one was really good. It's set in Ireland, where people, like kids, were getting sick, and they were dying, and it's kind of that not relationship, but that tension between the two churches at the time in Ireland. And there's a little bit of paranormal stuff, and there's this one little girl that it all hinges on. But anyways, it's a really good book. Highly recommend. And the other one is Diddly Squat by Jeremy Clarkson. If you enjoyed the first series of his farming program on Amazon Prime called Diddly Squat, his farmers called Diddly Squat, the book and the series kind of run side by side. They know they're pretty much the same. So even if you only plan on watching the first series and you've enjoyed it, the books are also still available. It's read 2 or 3 already. And I haven't read the second or third one yet, but I plan to at some point because I enjoyed them. The first one, it's quite funny, like both show and book. You get his humour in there. So even if you don't like Jeremy Clarkson, it's just you'll enjoy seeing him suffer and struggle with farming. But anyways, those were the books that I enjoyed the most, that stuck out to me the most during 2023. I will put some pictures up here when editing, so you know about what some of the book covers look like. But I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.